Hey everybody, Tim here with tonight's episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 5, Episode 12, Violations. Okay, so, you guys are going to have to bear with me. This is a really uncomfortable episode, and it's supposed to be, but keep in mind this episode was in 1991, and we're looking at it from a 21st century lens, in hindsight, almost 30 years ago. So, I'm going to do my best to kind of be PC for this episode, but it's a difficult episode. As the title says, it's Violations. So, the crew encounter or have aboard some telepathic historians. And what they do is they can kind of read your mind and bring back past memories that have kind of faded, and they bring them to the surface, and they use that. And they kind of mention in passing, oh, we're planning a library of all of this, and it's interesting. As we continue, one of them has kind of attacked Diana, Troy. And so that's where this episode gets really uncomfortable. And I'll be completely honest with you, especially if you look at the first couple of episodes of The Next Generation, there's a lot of uncomfortable episodes, especially towards women. There's the one, I can't remember the name of it, where the guy switches bodies with Data, and he says something like, a woman's not a woman, she's a beautiful creature, or something. A woman's not a human, she's a beautiful creature, something along the lines. And it's like, well, that's like super sexist. And this episode kind of falls into that. So Deanna starts having memories resurface of Riker attacking her and forcing himself upon her. And she can't really cope with it. And slowly other members of the crew start having same, like, very vivid memories brought to the surface, including Beverly Crusher has a memory where we now see her husband for the second time, and Patrick Stewart with hair. And he's like showing her husband's body, Jack's body, after he had died aboard the Stargazer. And so, but Deanna's is definitely the most forceful, and it's super uncomfortable. And I gotta give all the credit to the actress. And as we continue through the episode, we realize that he's doing this not just this one time on the Enterprise, but Data and Geordi have realized that he's been doing this for years on other planets. But it makes it look like it's a neurological disorder, and he's kind of been covering it up. And this episode even has like a really weird line where the main antagonist dad says, "Oh, a beautiful woman, I just can't help myself." And it's like, dude, like seriously, calm down. And this whole episode's really just uncomfortable. And what's weird to me is in the forced scene, Riker and her are calling each other Amzadi, and then he forces himself upon her, and then he turns into the guy that's actually doing it. Like, what is it, 10 years, 20 years later, we'll see this again in the episode, or in the movie Nemesis. So it's really interesting. It's almost shot for shot. Like, it's really close to this episode and the scene in Nemesis. So it's a really difficult, so anyways, so they realize that somebody is doing this. They don't know who it is, but somebody is doing this. The guy, like, basically pawns it off on his father. He's like, oh no, he's doing it by implanting false memories. They get to the end, of course, they track it down, and they realize that this is something that has happened, but not for hundreds of years ago. And what really got me is they actually say that the father says this form of rape has not happened in like X amount of years. And I'm pretty sure that's the first time they've said the word rape in the series, or probably in like this type of genre on television, because they knew what they had to have known what they were doing with this episode and bringing things to the forefront. And because, I mean, that's what Star Trek does. Star Trek is good at allegory. They're good at bringing those problems to people's face. Like, you go back to the episode Symbiosis, where it's all about drug use and people who are addicted to drugs. This episode brings a real problem to the front, and they talk about it, which is very commendable to Star Trek. And that's the reason I love Star Trek. It leads to a little bit of uncomfortable watching it, just because it's not something that people like to discuss, and there shouldn't be that stigma. So for those who have seen this episode, what did you guys think? Did you guys think that this was handled in the right way? Did you think it was handled in the wrong way? go ahead, let me know, because I would love to have some conversation with you guys about this episode, because like I'm not sure how to really feel about it. So go ahead, let me know. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for the YouTube subscriptions. Thank you guys for everything. Thank you guys for reaching out for the comments. I will see you guys next time for Masterpiece Society.